So, MrBeast has finally responded to the Kris Tyson allegations, and I gotta say, his response honestly surprised me. So, if you aren't caught up with the Kris Tyson allegations, Kris Tyson, MrBeast's best friend, has been being called out over the last couple days for supposedly inappropriately talking with a minor while he was in his 20s, as well as other allegations regarding the artist Shadman, which Kris Tyson had numerously interacted with, as well as it seems like either printed off or bought art from this Shadman guy that was depicting lolly content and hung it on his wall like an art piece, which was honestly really disgusting. These were two serious allegations. Being inappropriate with a minor is pretty much the gist of what I'm getting. Now, it looks like the minor has come out and said that he wasn't a victim, but I mean, I'm not exactly sure how that all adds up. But I've seen some of the text and it was definitely an inappropriate way of talking. However, Kris Tyson responded in a very mediocre way, pretty much not addressing it at all, and said that MrBeast and Kris Tyson had come to a mutual agreement that Kris Tyson would be stepping away from the MrBeast team and no longer be in videos for the foreseeable future. But now MrBeast has finally come out and responded to these allegations, and it seems like they're both kind of contradicting each other, so let's get right into it. So MrBeast tweeted out, "Over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I am disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable act. During this time, I've been focused on hiring an independent third party to conduct a thorough investigation to ensure I have all the facts. That said, I've seen enough online and taken immediate action to remove Ava from my company, my channel, and any association with MrBeast. I do not condone or support any inappropriate actions. I will allow the independent investigators the necessary time to conduct a comprehensive investigation and will take any further actions based upon their findings." Now, in my opinion, this is a great response, although yes, it does kind of sound PR-like, and that's what a lot of people in the replies are saying, that it kind of just sounds like PR and not genuine. You know what, as much as I understand that point, I think this is a great response. Now, obviously, we don't know the full extent of what Kris Tyson was messaging to these minors, and I think that was probably the biggest allegation. Only 18% of the people watching this video right now are actually subscribed to the channel. Don't be part of the 81%. Subscribe to the channel. You have nothing to lose. Now, obviously, the interactions with Shadman were disgusting and definitely abhorrent, but I think at the time it was, at least on the internet, somewhat socially acceptable to interact with Shadman because he kind of just did what a lot of people thought was edgy art. And then when he started doing more and more disgusting things, I think that's when people started cutting off the Shadman guy. So I think for those allegations, yeah, it was definitely creepy I mean, there's multiple screenshots of Kris Tyson basically going out of his way to protect this Shadman guy or engage with this guy. So that was a little creepy, especially after these, more creepy things came out. Like, if you don't know enough about Shadman, one of the worst things, he's known for is that he drew Keemstar, Drama Alert's daughter, in a very inappropriate way, like as a lolly thing, and that was completely disgusting. And it looks like the reason people are upset with Kris Tyson interacting with Shadman is because Kris Tyson kept interacting with Shadman after that really disgusting thing with the Drama Alert, Keemstar's daughter, and so that's definitely a bit of a red flag. But overall, I think those are less of the inappropriate allegations compared to Kris Tyson messaging like this minor. And there's multiple screenshots of them talking and engaging with each other. There's multiple instances where this minor, I don't exactly remember their name, I've seen them on Twitter, but I don't know their name off the top of my head, but I've seen them, the tweets from them pretty much talk about how Kris Tyson was allegedly, talking to this minor about his hentai addiction and really just inappropriate things. Now, you know what, I completely understand having friends with all age ranges, online, especially even in for my instance, I've played Xbox with people of all ages, the 40-year-old on the COD lobby, as well as a bunch of guys around my age and that kind of thing. So I understand it's kind of normal on the internet to have friendships that aren't all exactly the same age. However, I've never once made super inappropriate conversations with minors, and I think that's one of the reasons people are so upset with Kris Tyson is because not only was it sounds like Kris Tyson was friends with this minor, but he was also talking very inappropriately. The guy made jokes about sending him NUDES. I'm not gonna say that out loud, but there was definitely some very concerning, sexual engagements with Kris Tyson and this minor. I think that's something that definitely needs to be addressed. Now, for MrBeast, I do think this is a good response. I know it does sound a little PR-like, and some people will call me MrBeast dick riders for, not completely shitting on him, but I think this is a pretty reasonable response, especially because this is Kris Tyson's response from yesterday. He said, "I would like to apologize for any past behavior or comments if it hurt or offended anybody. If it was not in my intent, seeing recent events, we have mutually decided to it's best I permanently step away from all things MrBeast and social media and focus on my family and mental health," which is just, honestly, it's kind of a crazy reply. And I think it really goes to show how big of a drama this is, because if you look at this tweet, there's almost 50 million people who have seen this. And so that's kind of crazy. It's pretty much a non-apology. I'd like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments if it offended anyone or hurt anyone. Like, I think that's a completely, evasive way of saying, like, hey, I've been making inappropriate jokes with this minor. I don't think Kris Tyson is exactly addressing why people are upset with him, and it looks like that's another weird thing. I mentioned how there's some inconsistencies with the response. So Kris Tyson put out the statement like 2 days ago and said, "Seeing recent events, we've mutually decided it's best I permanently step away from all things MrBeast." So that makes it sound like, MrBeast was just like, okay, we've mutually decided to part ways. However, MrBeast comes out with a statement a day after this and says that he fired Kris Tyson. And so which is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't think there's something missing there, I guess. But yeah, I'd like to see what MrBeast comes out with the allegations. I don't think we've heard the last of him, and I'll definitely make sure to keep this updated, because something tells me that they're gonna find something in this investigation that either, mostly clears Kris Tyson's name or completely makes him a lot worse than what we've been shown. There's only really two possibilities right now. It's either, there were some inappropriate jokes, but it wasn't ever anything too crazy. And I think there's a possibility of that because this minor has come out and defended Kris Tyson, as well as said a lot of these inappropriate jokes were apparently made on a public Discord server. And so I definitely think it's different if you're just talking like in a group chat and being inappropriate. Like, it's still wrong, but it's a lot different if you're doing it in public in a group chat versus doing it one-on-one in private, with a minor. Like, there's pretty much no reason Kris Tyson should be speaking one-on-one with a minor. That's just my opinion. But if it was in a group chat and there were some inappropriate jokes, yes, it was completely wrong, but it's not the worst thing. It's definitely not as bad as I'm thinking it is, because right now I definitely think the other possibility is that Kris Tyson had multiple private conversations with this minor when he was well into his 20s, and he was talking very inappropriately with them, talking about his hentai addiction or making jokes that he would send them, that Kris would send inappropriate pictures. I think that's more likely of the two scenarios, and that's definitely shout out to MrBeast for, firing Kris Tyson, because, as much as I think it's fine to criticize MrBeast, a lot of people saying, oh, he knew about Kris Tyson's inappropriate behavior. You gotta think, if this was your best friend, of course you'd want to give them the benefit of the doubt, and it can't be easy to just completely get rid of your best friend, because they did some crazy stuff behind your back. And I know a lot of people are saying MrBeast knew, but ask yourself, do you know everything that your best friends do? Not saying they're doing anything inappropriate, but I mean, seriously, just ask yourself that question. This was the biggest reply from MrBeast. They said, "We warned you, you didn't listen, you deserve to be canceled." And the top comment, of course, ratioing that is, "Does one bad cancel out 10,000 good deeds? Let us know." And honestly, I completely agree with that. Like, it was definitely wrong for MrBeast to, go out of his way to pretty much support Kris Tyson being around, especially when, now that we know he's shown inappropriate behavior towards minors. That's definitely gross. But MrBeast has done so much good. Call me a dick rider, but you know what? I'm more than okay with MrBeast just moving forward with this and then letting us know what the investigation says when it finally comes out. And then this is the big one. this is from Jake the Viking, which used to be a member of MrBeast's team. He said, I don't know what I was expecting, but this ain't it. Now, I don't know if I'm crazy here, but I feel like this is a pretty good response. That's just my thoughts. You can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. For anyone who stayed around this far into the video, I thought I'd just mention one thing, that I'm sorry I haven't posted a video in like 3 months or something. I was really focusing on finishing my schooling. I know a lot of you guys are probably just about to go through exams, or at least the college students, so trust me, I know the pressure. But if you decided to stick around this late, thank you for listening to the entire video, and hopefully I'll be back to making videos from now on. All right, thanks, bye now.